Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli back out here in the shop, and I have a really cool modification. This is a secret frog technique. That's right, frog technique I've been using for a long time. When you're throwing a frog, to not imitate a frog, but to imitate a shad or bait fish. This technique for me and this modification has been super key, especially in the post spawn. Usually the shad spawn is going on, threadfin or herring when that spawn is going on. Anytime there's a lot of silvery bait fish, and if they're under overhangs, if those shad are spawning under docks, and I see a lot of bait fish spawning around lily pads, this can be a great little trick. First thing is you're going to start with a shad colored and a shad shaped frog. I'm a big fan of the mullets. This mullets frog, the way it walks is unbelievable. And if you look at it, this one is elongated. The body on this mullets frog is very long, almost like, sort of like a little topwater stick bait. So I like that. But now I'm going to change this thing out of the pack, and I'm going to make a couple modifications to get this thing to really act, look, and flash like a shad or a bait fish. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my scissors, and I want to get that tail trimmed pretty short. You know, that longer that tail, the more resistance and interference there's going to be with this particular technique. So I'm going to cut it so there's literally about ½ an inch of tail left. That's it. I'm going to cut it like that. You're looking at it, you're kind of like, yeah, it looks funny. I don't know if that's going to work. But that's what I want. I want that short little stubby tail. You could do it the same way on frogs that have 2 skirt legs on them. Next thing is I'm going to get blades. I'm going to get blades. And I usually I'll steal these off my mullet spinner baits. And you can use willow blades. You can use Indianas. But I really prefer to use Colorado style blade. And if you look at that, it's a real small one. It's maybe, I'm thinking it's a number 4, something real small. And I've got it on a really nice, good VMC swivel. So it's got nice rotation. And I want 2 of them in the same size. I usually use silver to mimic that color forage if the forage is silver or white or shiny. But if the forage is golden shiner or if it's roach, don't be afraid to use gold blades as well. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the blade. And if you notice, I have a split ring on the blade side and on the barrel swivel side. And I'm going to go over, that's it, look, all I'm doing is compressing the frog body. I'm going over that hook. I'm going to do it with the next one. Compress the frog body. Going over that hook with that ring, okay? But it's not done yet because now I want to keep these things in place. So I'm going to use just a little piece of shrink tubing. That's the same kind of tubing you would use for a spinner bait or a buzz bait trailer hook. I'll cut those down into about 1/8 inch segments. And all I do is compress that frog body down. And I'm going to go through the surgical tubing, pop it through one, pop it through the next, and I'm going to slide that tubing down so it's about even, horizontal with the body, long ways. Okay, so now that tubing is going to hold our blades on. It's not in any way going to impede with the amazing hookup ratio of that mullets frog. And now look at it. Listen, listen. Come on, man. You hear that? The fish hear that too. And as you work, twitch, whether you're walking or even if you're just pushing that frog, these blades are going to clack, they're going to flash, they're going to spin, and that silver sheen drives those fish nuts when they're feeding on bait fish. You know, the other bonus of putting the blades on, besides flash, besides vibration, and besides noise, is the way the frog sits. And when you pause this, especially I like to work it through the cover, I'll make a pause, and because there's additional weight, the frog is going to sit butt down, ass down, and your hookup ratio will increase dramatically because of that frog position. Listen to me. If you love fishing a frog, but you're fishing where bait fish are and not actually frogs, try this little tip, putting the blades on a frog. You're going to catch some unbelievable fish, especially around the shad spawn. Mike Iaconelli talking about a Mullex frog modification from the shop.